As part of this chapter, we will ask you guys to identify parallel and perpendicular slopes of given lines. The three main types of lines or equations that we will give you are going to be examples that we go over now. First, we have a line that is in slope-intercept form. Remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. M stands for your slope. In this case, your slope of your given line is 1/3. What we have to remember is, what does parallel mean? And what does perpendicular mean? And in every case, parallel lines have the exact same slope. So if the slope of the given line is 1/3, the slope of the line parallel to that, any line parallel to that, is 1/3 as well. They're the exact same. Perpendicular, however, is both opposite and reciprocal. Those are two different things. Opposite is positive or negative. Reciprocal means you flip your fraction, change numerator and denominator. This is a positive 1/3, so the perpendicular slope will be negative. Okay. This is 1/3, so the perpendicular slope would be 3/1. You always take the reciprocal. You could write it this way, or you don't need the 1 in the denominator, and you can just write that as -3. The slightly more challenging problems are when it's not in slope-intercept form or point-slope form. Currently, this is in standard form. In order to figure out what the slope of this current line is, we would need to first solve for y. So we have to go back into our bag of tricks. We know we need to get y here all by itself. 4x is positive. We will start by subtracting 4x from both sides. 4x minus 4x is 0. I'm left with -3y equals, I always like to write my variable term or my x term first. These are not like terms, so I cannot combine them. This is a -4x and a positive 18. I do not have this solved for y quite yet, so I have one more step. I need to divide all terms by -3 to cancel my -3's and leave me with just my y on the left of the equal sign. Negative divided by a negative is positive 4/3 x. Positive divided by a negative is -6. Now my starting point, or my y-intercept, is not that important in problems like these. The most important thing in a problem when we're just identifying parallel and perpendicular slopes is to be able to figure out what the slope of my current line is. As I look at this, the number I am multiplying x by is 4/3. That's my current slope. Then any slope parallel is exactly the same. Perpendicular is opposite. This is positive, this is negative, and reciprocal, flip the fractions. The one other type that you're going to look at for problems like this is when it's in point-slope form. If it's already in point-slope form, remember that's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Your slope is in front of your x terms. So in this case, my current slope is 1/2. Let's make sure we write it correct. Anything parallel to this line then would be 1/2, and anything perpendicular to this line would be -2. Okay, I'm going to do one more example with you because we haven't seen one like this yet. Let's say our equation was y equals -3x plus 1. I want you guys right now, you can hit pause and go ahead and find the slope of this line, the parallel slope, and the perpendicular slope. So go ahead and hit pause, fill those in, and then hit play and check your answers. Okay, you should have seen that your slope for this is negative 3. This is in slope-intercept form. So any line parallel would have a slope of negative 3. The tricky one on here, I think, is the perpendicular. Remember, all of these numbers can be written as fractions if they're not already by putting them over 1. This is a negative, so my perpendicular slope will be positive. And instead of 3 over 1, it's 1 over 3.